Thanks, Marcus, for giving me opportunity to interview you for my YouTube channel and podcast.
Awesome. Okay.
So I thought to tell about you and the work that you are doing to my audience.
Right now, so uh, my name is Marcos Ortiz. I from Cuba, but right now I live in Lima, Peru. Okay. Right now I'm working as a data engineer for Riot Games. Okay. Of course, on the side I write two newsletters. One is called Interesting Data Gigs. I help people to apply for data analytics jobs and how to stand out their application. The second one is it's more focused on the AWS technologies. It's called AWS Graviton Weekly, where I keep people informed about everything related to AWS Graviton. It's the new process for the company to do about the combination of price performance for everything related to Amazon Web Services. Okay.
So you're a data plumber.
Yeah, I it's curious that you say me this. You say this because basically we are doing uh, plumber work for plumber work for everything related to data inside my company. That's why we love to call us data plumber.
So can you tell more about your job?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Can you tell more about your work?
Ah, for example, we are using different data in many cases very dispersed sites out there. For example, some data from Facebook ads in the case, for some data from Google ads. Our job as data engineers is to combine all the data in one particular place, and then you have to make an analysis for that particular data. That's why we are building literal pipes of data in one particular place, like a lake. In a lake, then you have to try to understand what is happening with that data.
So how you will do that?
How I do that?
Yeah.
Right now, I'm using Python for mostly everything. We are using the technology is called Apache Airflow as well. Of course, uh, Apache Spark because we are working right now with many data inside Amazon. So for Riot Games is very large company with a lot of successful games as well. We have right now more than 100 million players around the world. So you see this is a lot of data coming from that particular gamers.
So uh, you work on different projects.
Yeah, my right now I'm working in in a division called Riot Forge. Basically, we are right now we are Riot Forge is a division for side Riot Games where we can provide our IP intellectual property to other companies and create games with that particular technology. Of course, we have an agreement about the sales, about kind of stuff, but that's the division I'm working right now.
So you also work with AWS.
No,
Like
I am AWS Community Builder. It's a program from AWS services where you can advocate and educate people about how to use Amazon Web Services properly. And specifically, of course I'm more focused on data part of that. Because of course I'm more focused on the data analytics space inside AWS. So that's why I'm doing all this. So trying to get people to use, for example, Amazon S3 properly, Athena, MER, AKS, and that kind of stuff.
so what you know about data?
So what?
What you know about data?
What I know about data.
Yeah.
So what I know, it's tricky to answer that question because it's very open. For example, right now at Riot Games, we are using data for almost everything. For example, to understand um, how people is have engagement with our games, or how people is in some cases cheating inside the games. So, in order to understand all that, you have to uh, see what is happening inside data. So that's why I love working with this piece of software.
So what made you to come into data analysis and data plumbing?
Uh, my drive to this career in this case is basically because I I am a very curious person, right? So I love to understand what is happening in the background, what is happening on the side about everything. I love to understand businesses and models. Right now, the best way to do this is to analyze the data behind that business. So that's why I put in a lot of effort to the career to make the investment to become a data engineer.
So what is your background? What is your background? How you came?
My background is in software engineering. I work as a system engineer first, and then as a Linux administrator. Then I work as a database administrator so many years ago. So in some case, I always have to be related to data. Some databases in the past, right now, with more mobile or modern tools, but always related to data.
So what you are understanding about data by working on data?
So can you repeat that?
What you are understanding about data by working on data?
Um, my understand that is basically there are many companies out there, for example, that they are not using their own data properly. I think it could be. I want to be an advocate for this because there are many hidden insights inside your own data that you don't know. Uh, But to put an example, for example, there are many people inside companies that are using, for example, LinkedIn to drive opportunities for other people. But inside the same company, many people even don't know that you can use LinkedIn, for example, to bring more people to the company. They don't analyze that, for example. They don't see the potential that you have right now using the big network inside LinkedIn to do all this.
So you understand data everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. I think more companies have to be, of course, have to be data driven, but even no, you don't have you don't need a lot of data to start working with that. For example, you can get your own data, for example, for finances to see what is happening in your business, for example. So company doesn't do that. It's very it's hard to survive without knowing all that. But for example, there are many companies using, for example, Amazon Web Services. In many cases, they are paying a lot of money for service right now that even they are not using or they don't know they're using. So you have to. There are many opportunities out there to work with data to be data driven specific in that particular area.
So what you are learning by doing data plumbing?
Ah, I learn, for example, not only about good engineering practices about this, but learning about the business model of the companies or about the particular part of the company. For example, where we are analyzing marketing inside Riot in Riot Games, you have very a lot of angles to understand and to see. So you have to know how Facebook ads works, for example, or you have to know how content marketing works for that particular company, or you have to know how a video, for example, in the same YouTube is right now doing good or doing bad about particular keywords. So you don't only have to worry about the you don't only have to worry about the data itself. You have to worry about the business itself as well.
Is it possible to understand the very big companies' data?
Yes, I think it could be the right approach. Uh, you can do that. Of course, the company have to invest some resources to pull the all data in one place. In that particular case, you have to, of course, to have to um, get the insights for that particular place.
So not only technology companies and technology employees, also the technology users are worried about data security.
Mm, sorry, can you repeat that?
Not only just technology companies and technology employees who are working on data security, but also the users of the technology are now thinking about whether their data is safe in the technology or not.
Yeah, I think there are many cases out there where um, but data could be can save the company as well, not only for technology companies. For example, um, there are many companies, for example, from the manufacturing to understand how the factories are doing a good job or how factories are doing a faster job to create a new product from the company. So they are using data. So capturing all this data in that particular places around the factory to understand what is happening here, what is the bottleneck here, and that particular case you can have a more efficient factory in that case. So not only for technology companies, I think many companies in many industries can be benefit of this data-driven approach here.
You are into software engineering before now you're working on data. So why?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I was working as a software engineer before because basically I love writing software. That's the main goal here. But I found some of my work monotonous because it's not only uh, coding all day. I found that when I transitioned to the data analysis side, I have to learn not only about good coding, about good software engineering practices. I have to learn about data visualization, business models, even I have to read industry papers about particular case. So that's why I love data analysis because you have to learn more to in order to do a very good job.
So how much experience you have in technology?
Right now, I think 9 years. Yeah.
So from 9 years, you saw the evolution of the technology and the change that is happening in the technology and the tools that has been changed and the way the humans are working on technology is different. Also, the data management also become very different. So,
Yeah.
what is the difference that you are observing in this 9 years?
For example, I am a very good example of that because I was starting my career as a database administrator. So working with Oracle, working with that Postgres SQL in that case, of course, Postgres is relevant right now as well. But I have to I have to modernize my own knowledge for this because if you were using all these old tools for that particular job, you get behind. So my job right now, you have to use more modern technology for that. For example, when I try to learn about Airflow, when I try to learn Apache Spark, that right now is one industry standard for data engineering, data analysis. I have to learn all this on the way. So when you see all that evolution for not only about the technologies, or it's about the methodologies as well. Because you have see, for example, the Kimball book for data warehousing right now, and in 2022, you see something like data contracts or data lakes and that kind of stuff. So you have to keep working, keep learning every day about this because the technology evolution is very quick right now.
So there are a lot of certifications on this data.
Yeah, there are a lot of certifications. For example, in the Amazon side, you have um, big data specialist, data analytics. It's very hard certification, but once you get it, uh, I think you have a very good chance to get a good job about these fields. Of course, you have a very good name behind because it's Amazon. For example, for Google, you have a professional data engineer certification as well. It's very good as well. I think that's the main certifications in that side. Uh, if I have to say to someone to right now focus on one, of course, Amazon right now, because you have a very good scope of certifications inside Amazon Web Services that could give you a very good preparing for next, I don't know, next 10 years about the technology.
So if we see the global infrastructure of different companies, the companies have scaled their size and also put data centers in the water. And also they have planned to put data centers above the earth. So what do you say about it? Because you are the witness for 9 years of technology evolution.
To be honest with that, I saw some of the news about that. I saw that in many cases the data centers inside the ocean they're more efficient about the energy because they're using the same wave to generate energy for that. Of course, using the water to cool the machines as well. So I think if this is good for the environment, if it's good for so any harm to the ocean, I'm okay with that. Specifically because in many cases they are more efficient as a data centers that they are right now on the ground.
So these applications are hosted in different data centers today. All the software which are widely used globally today. The data is exchanged between different countries, and now we all are connected through these apps in the form of data. So, where we are going?
It depends for the use case, in this case for the company. For example, for a company Riot Games, we're using, for example, Amazon S3 as a source of truth for everything. And of course, you have to divide in different regions about globally for that particular case. But for companies, for example, I have seen companies using DynamoDB to global span around the world, because the DynamoDB could be the answer to span the services around the global with one particular product here. In that case, you can actually not only attend the peoples inside, for example, in Asia, in Europe, and North America. You can actually do the global product around the world with this particular application.
So, what change you want to bring in technology in the form of data analyst?
For example, in my team right now, we have a very good diverse group here. For example, I'm the data engineer. Two of my colleagues are data scientists because they are analyzing building models on top of this data. There are other data analysts as well, because you have to have someone that understand the business inside and outside. Of course, we have data visualization specialists as well, because you have to present all this in a very good way. So there are many people that only focus on that.
So, working with different people, how is that experience?
I think I love working with diverse people, because you have a very different perspective in any case. For example, when you are working, for example, with the data scientist, you you have to learn about the mathematical part of the model, and you have to learn how to make your data even more efficient for them. But when you work, for example, with the data visualization specialist, you learn about the what is the best visualization, what is the best graphic to present that particular data. So in that particular case, you are learning every day. You're like a sponge, uh, taking knowledge from all these different fields, and of course improving your own knowledge as well.
So, what challenges that you want to face?
What challenge I want to face, or the challenge
Yes.
I have right now?
No, what you want to face?
Now, I think I have a very good challenge right now inside Riot Games, because we are analyzing a lot of data. I cannot mention the exact number right now, because it's a lot of data. I think right now I have a very good challenge in front of me for this aid. So I think it could be next challenge right now for me is to know more about the business, more about the specific business, specific for the gaming industry, that is very complicated as well. So love to learn about that.
So, working on software is different, and working on software's data is different. So, how you are able to shift yourself from that to this, and what is the difference that you are observing?
To be honest, I think it's the same, because the fundamentals are there. You have to do very good job about the algorithms. Uh, you have to understand the very good data structures as well to have a very good job. So I think the software engineer and data engineer is very similar in so many cases. Many knowledge is used on both sides of the cases. So right now, to be honest, I don't see many difference. Of course I'm more focused on analysts and that kind of stuff. Where I think the fundamentals for software engineer is are there. Okay.
So what do you do other than this full-time job?
So what I do?
Other than this full-time job?
Like I said, I content creator as well. I love to create new videos from YouTube, Spanish, and like I mentioned, the two newsletters I write every single week.
What content?
Like I mentioned before, I write two newsletters. The first one is to help people to find very good jobs about in the data analysis space and how to stand out your application. It's called interest database inside Substack. And the second one is AWS Graviton Weekly to help people to keep informed about the last evolution for our AWS Graviton technologies inside Amazon.
So you work with AWS.
Yes.
So what you do with what services you used and
Right now, I'm more focused on the Amazon S3, Amazon Athena, Amazon Blue, and of course the secrets manager to be everything about the tools that we're using right now, um, and MR as well, and of course Databricks inside Databricks on Amazon Web Services as well.
so how you are able to manage your time? You are already doing a full-time job now. You are a AWS community builder and you're writing newsletters. So how you're managing your time? So yeah, the last question of mine was like how you are able to manage your time by doing the multiple works.
Yeah, like I said, I using a time management technique is called the Pomodoro technique. Of course, to focus in a task for the next 25 minutes. Of course, I have to rest. I don't know, 3 to 5 minutes. Another one. In that, of course, I wake up early as well. I try to write and to focus on my content from the early part of the morning, from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., 9 a.m., and then I work my main things I have to work in the day for my company, and then on the night I try to do another things about the content. But of course, the big learning here is not I doing daily writes about all this. So when the week is finished, I already have the main articles for the two newsletters here because I know only focus that final part of the week. I work writing a little in the whole week. That's the main secret here.
So at last, as a data plumber, as a content creator, as a software engineer, as a person who is into technology for 9 years. So what is your observation about my work? Have you seen any videos of mine on YouTube?
From your videos on YouTube, I think I love the you have a very good interviews there. For example, I think in the Microsoft MVP, I love that particular very, very good person. She provided very good advice about the career as well. So I think you're doing an awesome job about this. So I want to see your channel grows the way. So if you need any help with all this, I'm happy to do it.
That's great. So I did masters in software engineering and also bachelor's in computer science and engineering. And right now I'm getting trained as AWS uh, cloud DevOps engineer position. I'm getting trained. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, recently, yesterday the class was about AWS CLI, command line
Awesome.
interface. So I'm getting trained as for that position. So talking with experts like you who are already in the industry and solving different problems, handling different projects, and uh, talking with experienced people like you, what I'm going to learn from you all people, and how this collection of information is going to helpful for me if I work in IT or in DevOps position or in further different roles in IT. How this experience is going to helpful for me.
I think to have to give you a quick advice about this. I think experience matters right now. So there are many courses, many books about there. But especially, for example, with AWS, you have to do things in order to learn. That's the only way to do this. Specifically in your area of a DevOps engineer, you have to face with the reality about working with the AWS CLI. I think that's the best way to learn about AWS. Working with tools, solving problems, solving real problems as well. And that's the very good things about for example, the AWS certifications. You have to solve real problems in order to pass the certification. There's no some use case as well there. No, you have to solve a real problem for that particular case. So my small bit of advice, you have any opportunity to learn about AWS, take it. Course, specifically a practical course, of course. There are many good cases and many good courses about AWS. I think that the best ones, from my point of view, they are the ones that you are actually doing that in the console. Okay, so I think you're doing a very awesome job about that because you're not only taking uh, our advice, you're actually practices all this. Okay.
It's it's really valuable for me. I'll keep your words in my mind for sure. So can I put this video on my YouTube channel with your permission?
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I had I had you do it as well, so it's okay for me.
So can I also put this audio and video clip on my podcast website, internet, social media, everywhere with your permission?
Yeah, everywhere. Don't worry.
Yeah. I'll share your web links in the description of this video on YouTube. People who can find our video on YouTube can see it, and also I'll put on the screen as well. They can see about you and the work that you're doing and about your contribution. They
Awesome.
can learn
Awesome.
from you. Can you
Thank
also
you for
spell?
that.
Can you also spell your details to my podcast listeners?
Uh, Sorry, can you repeat that?
Can you also tell about yourself to my podcast listeners, where they can follow you and they can uh, learn from you?
Okay. I always very active on Twitter. It's Marcos Luis 202186 is my handle inside Twitter. And of course, you can actually follow my journey in the newsletters. Interesting data geeks.substack.com. And in another newsletter is awsravitonweekly.com. Okay, there are three places you can actually see all my work here, but that's the main places where you see it.
So thanks again, Marcos, for giving your valuable time and giving answers to some of my questions and being on my show.
No, thanks to you. Of course, a good hug for everything in India and globally about all this. Thank you.
Thank you again. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.